The Art of Worldly Wisdom, Baltasar Gracian. In acting or refraining, weigh your luck. More depends on that than on noticing your temperament. If he is a fool who at 40 applies to Hippocrates for health, still more is he one who then first applies to Seneca for wisdom. It is a great piece of skill to know how to guide your luck even while waiting for it. For something is to be done with it by waiting so as to use it at the proper moment. Since it has periods and offers opportunities, though one cannot calculate its path, its steps are so irregular. When you find fortune favorable, stride boldly forward, for she favors the bold, and being a woman, the young. But if you have bad luck, keep retired so as not to redouble the influence of your unlucky star. Keep a store of sarcasms and know how to use them. This is the point of greatest tact in human conversation. Such sarcasms are often thrown out to test men's moods, and by their means one often obtains the most subtle and penetrating touchstone of the heart. Other sarcasms are malicious, insolent, poisoned by envy or envenomed by passion, unexpected flashes which destroy at once all favor and esteem. Struck by the slightest word of this kind, many fall away from the closest intimacy with superiors or inferiors which could not be the slightest shaken by a whole conspiracy of popular insinuation or private malevolence. Other sarcasms, on the other hand, work favorably, confirming and assisting one's reputation. But the greater the skill with which they are launched, the greater the caution with which they should be received, and the foresight with which they should be foreseen. For here a knowledge of the evil is in itself a means of defense, and a shot foreseen always misses its mark. Leave your luck while winning. All the best players do it. A fine retreat is as good as a gallant attack. Bring your exploits under cover when there are enough, or even when there are many of them. Luck long-lasting was ever suspicious, interrupted seems safer, and is even sweeter to the taste for a little infusion of bittersweet. The higher the heap of luck, the greater the risk of a slip, and down comes all. Fortune pays you sometimes for the intensity of her favors by the shortness of their duration. She soon tires of carrying anyone long on her shoulders. Recognize when things are ripe, and then enjoy them. The works of nature all reach a certain point of maturity. Up to that they improve, after that they denigrate. Few works of art reach such a point that they cannot be improved. It is an especial privilege of good taste to enjoy everything at its ripest. Not all can do this, nor do all who can know this. There is a ripening point, too, for fruits of intellect. It is well to know this both for their value in use and their value in exchange. The goodwill of people. 'Tis much to gain universal admiration, more universal love. Something depends on natural disposition, more on practice. The first founds, the second then builds on that foundation. Brilliant parts suffice not, though they are presupposed. Win good opinion, and 'tis easy to win goodwill. Kindly acts beside are required to produce kindly feelings, doing good with both hands, good words, and better deeds, loving so as to be loved. Courtesy is the politic witchery of great personages. First lay hand on deeds, and then on pens. Words follow swords, for there is goodwill to be won among writers, and it is eternal. Never exaggerate. It is an important object of attention not to talk in superlatives, so as neither to offend against truth, nor to give a mean idea of one's understanding. Exaggeration is a prodigality of the judgment which shows a narrowness of one's knowledge or one's taste. Praise arouses lively curiosity, begets desire, and if afterwards the value does not correspond to the price, as generally happens, expectation revolts against the deception, and revenges itself by underestimating the thing recommended and the person recommending. A prudent man goes more cautiously to work, and prefers to err by omission than by commission. Extraordinary things are rare, therefore moderate ordinary valuation. Exaggeration is a branch of lying, and you lose by it the credit of good taste, which is much, and of good sense, which is more. Born to command. It is a secret force of superiority not to have to get on by artful trickery, but by an inborn power of rule. All submit to it without knowing why, recognizing the secret vigor of connatural authority. Such magisterial spirits are kings by merit and lions by innate privilege. By the esteem which they inspire, they hold the hearts and minds of the rest. If their other qualities permit, such men are born to be the prime motors of the state. They perform more by a gesture than others by a long harangue. Think with the few, and speak with the many. By swimming against the stream, it is impossible to remove error, easy to fall into danger. Only a Socrates can undertake it. To dissent from others' views is regarded as an insult, because it is their condemnation. Disgust is doubled on account of the thing blamed and of the person who praised it. Truth is for the few. Error is both common and vulgar. The wise man is not known by what he says on the housetop, for there he speaks not with his own voice, but with that of common folly, however much of his inmost thoughts may gainsay it. The prudent avoid being contradicted as much as contradicting. Though they have their censure ready, they are not ready to publish it. Thought is free. Force cannot and should not be used to it. The wise man, therefore, retires into silence, and if he allows himself to come out of it, he does so in the shade and before few and fit persons. Sympathy with great minds. It is an heroic quality to agree with heroes. 'Tis like a miracle of nature for mystery and for use. There is a natural kinship of hearts and minds. Its effects are such that vulgar ignorance scents witchcraft. Esteem established, goodwill follows, which at times reaches affection. It persuades without words and obtains without yearning. This sympathy is sometimes active, sometimes passive, both alike felicic. The more so, the more sublime. 'Tis a great art to recognize, to distinguish, and to utilize this gift. No amount of energy suffices without that favor of nature. Use, but do not abuse, cunning. One ought not to delight in it, still less to boast of it. Everything artificial should be concealed, most of all cunning, which is hated. Deceit is much in use, therefore our caution has to be redoubled, but not so as to show itself. For it arouses distrust, causes much annoy, awakens revenge, and gives rise to more ills than you would possibly imagine. To go to work with caution is of great advantage in action, and there is no greater proof of wisdom. The greatest skill in any deed consists in the sure mastery with which it is executed.